Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and once again, welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we are heading to Sepoong in South Korea for the Sepoong Grand Prix. A bit of background information about this particular track. You might not have heard of it before, but it was originally intended to host the Indonesian Grand Prix back in 1999. And while the circuit was planned and laid out in South Korea, official construction of the track never started. Well, it has been built for Grand Prix 2, and we're going to use it here in the Grand Prix World Series, giving it a race that should have happened in real life, but will now happen in a virtual guise. And we can't wait to see what sort of action this track will produce. But first of all, let's remind ourselves of the standings heading into today, starting off with League 2 as always. And at the top of the driver's standings, Callum Ilott leads the way at 164 points. And with the gap that he has over Topher Cairns, he has his first opportunity to wrap up the driver's title today. Whether it will happen or not is another matter, but we'll see how the Carlin driver gets on. Nigeria on 118, Alex Palou third in the championship on 94, Jake Dennis fourth on 93, Nick De Vries on 90, and Ryo Hirakawa on 89, the red line indicating that those top six drivers are the only ones who can still mathematically win the Drivers' Championship. Ritomo Miyata 7th on 74 points ahead of Kimi Antonelli, Nick Cassidy and Stoffel Vandoorne rounding out the top 10 on 65 points. And looking to the team standings, Carlin cannot wrap up the team's championship today, but they can potentially secure promotion depending on how well both Ilott and Hirakawa finish today. Andretti second on 201, 52 points behind Carlin. Prema third on 199. It's very close between those two for second place. And it looks like that those three teams will be the ones to be promoted, but not if the likes of Dome and Ram have anything to say about it. Could they potentially have a late surge in the point standings late on in the season? We will wait and see. The red line denoting which teams can still win this championship, while Zach Speed, Scuderia Coloni and Forti Corsi above the orange line there, still mathematically able to secure promotion into League One next season, but of course some teams are more likely than others. Out of contention then, Downs on 53, Surtees on 44, Real on 25, Tolman on 17, and LaRousse propping up the field with 6 points. And there is just one driver change to bring you for today's Sepoong Grand Prix in League 2, and that comes at the Dams team. Colton Herta banned from this round after a collision last time out in Autopolis. He will be replaced once again by Danny Yonkadei, returning to the race seat that he occupied for part of the season earlier on. And with it being so late in the season now, Phil Kinch starting to think about his driver options for next season. Who might he like to retain when it comes to the driver draft? Well, before we head down to trackside, let's take a look at the qualifying results, and it is another familiar sight at the front as Dome locks out the front row with Cassidy on pole ahead of Ritomo Miyata, and a sort of Noah's Ark formation going after that with the two Carlins of Hirakawa and Ilott in third and fourth, the two Premas of Foster and Najiri in fifth and sixth, and then the two Andrettis of De Vries and Dennis in seventh and eighth. Breaking the Noah's Ark trend is Matt Campbell, ninth in the Ram, and Tazanapol Intrapuvasak putting in a brilliant qualifying performance to put his Forti Corsi 10th on the grid. 11th will be Kimi Antonelli in the Scuderia Coloni ahead of Jess Hawkins in the Surtees, Luke Browning in the second Forti Corsi 13th ahead of Pato Ward in the Dams, Victor Martin 15th ahead of Danny Yonkadei making his race return today in place of Colton Herta. Alex Palou, early championship leader, down in 17th, continuing his poor qualifying form this season. Matteo Caroli 18th ahead of Dennis Hauger, and Maximilian Gunter rounding out the top 20 in the Real. And at the back of the field, Alexander Rossi, Teo Porcher, Sarah Moore, Paul Aron, Abby Pulling, and Stoffel Vandoorne at the back, having picked up a grid penalty last time out in Autopolis. That is your grid for today's Sepoong Grand Prix. Can Callum Ilott secure the driver's title at his first opportunity here today? There's plenty of other drivers who'll want to stop him from doing so. But let's waste no more time and find out what the answer is going to be. And it's over to our regular commentator, Tom Cairns, to call all the action.
It's the first chance for Callum Ilott to become the League 2 Drivers' Champion of the Grand Prix World Series. There is his teammate and the two Domes ahead of him, of which he'll need to overcome to have any chance. The 5 red lights are coming on now. 4, 5 red lights are coming on. Lights are on. Lights off, and it's go in Sepoong. And the two domes are away well, but watch out for Callum Ilott, who's made an absolutely phenomenal start from 4th place off the grid. And he's about to lead into Tom on first. Callum Ilott couldn't have wished for a better start, and he's into the lead by turns 1 and 2. Ilott leads ahead of Cassie, who's dropped down to 2nd place. It's Louis Foster in 3rd. Return Miata, who's had an absolutely torrid start, is down in 4th place ahead of his compatriot Rio Hirakawa. Tomoki Najiri is coming through in 5th place in the 2nd frame. And there is Louis Foster on the inside of Nick Cassidy into turn 4. And that is him through into the last podium position, or 2nd place rather. So the two domes, who are 1 and 2 on the grid, are down to 3rd and 4th places. Ilott leads, Foster is 2nd, and it's Cassidy, Miata, Najiri, who is the closest challenger to Ilott in the championship. He's got with it all to do if he is to keep the championship fight going to Sepoong. Rio Hirakawa is in 6th place. It's Jake Dennis 7th, Nick DeFries 8th, Matt Campbell is 9th, and Taz Inthapavasak in the 40 in the final points paying position in 10th position. And there we see Ilott carrying on his way. Foster looking to keep up, but Ilott is already building a gap of 2.5 seconds, and it's likely to be even further than that by the time lap 1 is done. So Ilott is over the line into the lead, with Foster in 2nd place, and we've got Cassidy, who is looking to keep Dome in the running for promotion. It's looking increasingly unlikely that they're going to be able to do that. Carlin only need a certain amount of points in this one to guarantee themselves promotion. Looking at the permutations for them, they will seal promotion if Dome don't outscore them by at least 24 points and Ram don't outscore them by at least 25. So in actual fact, Carlin only need a total of 22 points to guarantee themselves promotion to League 1 for next season. The best way to do that is for Ilott or Hirakawa to be winning the race. Nothing else will matter. Meanwhile, Nick Cassidy looking to fight back on Louis Foster for 2nd position, and the placer says Cassidy is back into the runner-up spot. Can he go after Callum Ilott? There we see Teo Porcher in 18th position in the Colony. He is just in front of the Zach Speed of Stoff Van Don, who's made very good progress from the back of the grid. He was given a grid drop for running into Nick DeFries at the beginning of the last race in Autopolis, hence why he started at the back. Just see fastest laps exchanging at the moment. Cassidy currently holds that right now. Dome need every point they can get to realistically stay in the hunt for promotion. Reliability has been their Achilles heel this season. They really need both cars making it to the end. Not only Carlin could go up today, but also Andretti and Prema as well. But Prema and Andretti need a lot more to go their way if they were to seal promotion at this round. Right on board with Callum Ilott. His lead is 2.7 seconds, and we've got an early retirement, and it's Kimi Antonelli in the Colony, who is close to approaching the end of his short stint in the Grand Prix Series, as he will be a Mercedes Formula 1 driver in 2025. It's race over for him on the 3rd lap, and debris is being strewn across the circuit, and we're going to see a replay as to what exactly has been going on. And we're looking, is it Sarah Moore that's run into someone? Oh, she's run into what looks like Teo Porcher. Double disaster for Coloni and team manager Lewis Bassindale. So we're looking at Sarah Moore. So she's got a LaRousse in front of her, and I think that was avoidable in all honesty. Sarah Moore running into Teo Porcher. So it's race over for Kimi Antonelli, and it's going to be Teo Porcher into the pit lane at the end of this lap. We look at Nick DeFries running in 8th position, and race control have confirmed that Sarah Moore is going to be awarded a 30-second time penalty and a back of the grid drop for the next race in Sepang. looking at move from Rio Hirakawa on Tomoki Nichiri. Hirakawa doing his teammate Callum Ilott a favour, and he's gone up into 5th position. As it stands with the positions as they are, Callum Ilott will be League 2 Drivers' Champion today. Theo Boscher coming into the pits for a new rear wing and maybe a new front wing as well. Nick Cassidy getting the gap down to 2.4 seconds. Louis Foster in 3rd place still ahead of Ritomo Miata. There's Cassidy, who's trying to keep up. I think someone came into the pits at the end of lap 1. I don't know for certain who it was. It's down at the back anyway. We are looking at the second of the Andretti's, which is Nick de Vries in 8th position. Behind de Vries is Dijon Burgoyne race winner Matt Campbell. And another driver having a good race so far is Taz Ithapuvasak, following a strong debut in Autopolis. He's really beginning to show his feet here in the Grand Prix World Series. Jess Hawkins just outside the points in 11th place for Surtees. And we look at Taz Ithapuvasak, who is doing his best to keep his car on the circuit. Now Forty still have a mathematical chance of promotion. Go into the rounds, a huge total of 130 points behind Prema. Safe to say that 40 are not going to be returning to League 1 next season. They have picked up a race win this season though, which is their first in the Grand Prix Series, courtesy of Luke Browning, who's outside the top 15 in this event so far. So far, so good for Carlin. And we just saw de Vries run a little too deep there. And it looks like Tomoki Nichiri has been overtaken by the Andretti of Jake Dennis. Nichiri down to 7th place now, which is not good news for Prema. Going back to saying about Carlin, as it stands with the positions as they are, they will be going up to League 1 today. See Matt Campbell in the Ram, going through on Nick de Vries for 8th position. I think that move was coming all along. De Vries is not having the best of races so far. He's been struggling with the car. As far as Andretti are concerned, in terms of what they need for promotion today, they need to outscore Dome by at least 29 points, outscore Ram by at least 28, not be outscored by Saxby by at least 5, not be outscored by Colonia by at least 22, and not be outscored by 40 by at least 42. As it stands, they will not seal promotion because Cassidy and Miata are running up in 2nd and 4th places, and they have the fastest lap and pole position points. And Prema won't be going up either for exactly the same reasons. Just Carlin that will be going up today with the race as it is right now. Now Carlin could seal the team's championship if they were to outscore Andretti by 39 points and outscore Prema by at least 41. But it's very, very unlikely they're going to be achieving that today. The aim for them is to seal promotion, and for Callum Ilott to seal the Drivers' Championship. Jess Hawkins on a move, past Taz Ithapuvasak for 10th position. Hawkins, who's had a very positive season so far. An 8th place finish last time out, despite a time penalty she had picked up for an incident that she had been involved in. But still came away with a points finish. Louis Foster in 3rd place ahead of Ritomo Miata. see that Cassidy's getting the gap down gradually. It's now 1.9 seconds to Ilott. It's worth noting at this stage that some drivers will be looking to do the one stop, others will be doing the two. Well, we won't know for certain, or we won't know for absolutely certain what Paul Aron would have been doing, because his car is coming to a halt after a spellbinding showing last time out at Autopolis. It's game over for him in Sepoong. Paul Aron is out of the race in the Tolman. In what's been a miserable season for Michael Gillespie's team, it's got even worse. And I can imagine he'll be focusing on his intentions for Season 5. Two drivers out of the race then, Kimi Antonelli and Paul Aron. There we look at Danny Unkandea filling in for the suspended Colton Herter. He's just been overtaken by the Zach speed of Victor Martin, who has impressed since he filled in for Robin Frines. There we look at Stoffel van Dorn in 17th place. He also goes through on the Dams. So Dams not having the best of races so far. I can tell you the driver that came into the pits at the end of lap 1 was Luke Browning in the 40. So whilst it's not been a good race for him, it certainly has been a respectable one for his less experienced teammates as Intha Puvasak. Just see a lock-up from Max Gunther as he attempts to get through on Danny Unkandea. We're going to see a replay of the German's attempt to get through. It looks like he was about to go for it, but wasn't quite alongside and backed out in the end, and he locked up. Was into turn 9. Made the mistake. There are 14 turns around this 4.5 kilometre clockwise circuit of Sepoong, which was meant to host a Formula 1 race under the title of the Indonesian Grand Prix, as far as I can remember, until the project was abandoned and the circuit was never completed. That full construction had never started of this circuit, which was a huge shame. And by the looks of it, it kind of gives me vibes of Estoril a little bit, because of the high-speed nature to begin with, and then maybe the slower nature in the middle part of the course. There is Ilott, there is Cassidy, first and second. And we see Louis Foster, a little too deep into turn 12, but getting away with it. Approaching the end of lap number 9 now, 9 laps in. Ilott leads ahead of Cassidy. As it stands, as I've already mentioned, Ilott will be the driver's champion. As for Cassidy, well, he's got to do his bit for Dome to stay in the hunt for promotion. They missed out on promotion at the last race in Season 3. There we see the two Sack Speeds swapping places. Sack Speed have been on a good run of form of late in regards to most number of races finishing in the points consecutively. 10 races in a row, Sack Speed have scored points. There we have a look at Nick Cassidy, who's running in second place. And Hirakawa, who's trying to stay in touch with Foster and Miata. De Vries is back ahead of Campbell for 8th place. Campbell now almost under attack from the Surtees of Jess Hawkins. because the table as it stands, Ilott will be Drivers' Champion. Najiri in second place at the end of this round, and Dennis in third. Dennis will be leapfrogging Palou with the race going as it is. As it stands with the positions as they are, Carlin will be sealing promotion to League One. There we see Dennis Hauger on the inside, and that is Danny Unkandea, who's down another position. Dam's not having a good race so far. Hatterward is further up the order in 13th, behind Alex Palou. 2 seconds is the margin. Won't be too long before we start seeing pit stops. Probably looking at around lap 14 or 15 to see the 2 stoppers coming in. So we're a few more laps away from that. I don't know for certain how much time you need for a pit stop around Sepoong. Too many changes in the order right now. The drivers will be thinking about what to do in relation to pit stops. And looking at the fight between Andretti, Prema, Dome and Ram. Dome will be closing in on Prema and Andretti. Prema will leapfrog Andretti into second place with the positions as they are. If Ilott was to drop out of the race, he cannot become the Drivers' Champion today. That will go on to Sepoong. He's got to outscore Tomoki Najiri by at least 7 points to wrap it up here. Najiri is not the only driver mathematically still in the hunt with Ilott. There's Alex Palou, Jake Dennis, Nick De Vries and Ryu Hirakawa, but they have to outscore Ilott by a huge margin to stop him taking the title today. It's Najiri who is Ilott's main rival that he needs to be. I wonder how team manager Perry Brown of the Carlin team is feeling in this moment of time. A long way to go yet. As we've seen before, a lot can change in a blink of an eye. And every team manager in the Grand Prix World Series knows that. We've seen twists and turns, cross races and championships, not just this season, but also in previous campaigns. Nothing is certain in the Grand Prix World Series. And whilst the race is settling down, we may as well run down on the Season 5 calendar. We'll be going to the Caribbean for round 1, then it's to Brazil at Campo Grande. La Plata in Argentina is the venue for round 3. There's Indianapolis for round 4. There's off to Rockingham in the United Kingdom for round 5 for its British round. Dijon-Bourgogne in France for round 6. And it's off to Jerez in Spain, Mugello in Italy, and Hockenheim in Germany for the 9th round of the campaign. And also be the venue for the mid-season test. It's off to Poznan in Poland. We'll come away from the calendar for a moment because it looks like Ryo Hirakawa has picked up an issue and he is not going very fast at all. He's allowed Jake Dennis and Tomoki Nijiri through, and it's a loose wheel. It's a loose wheel on Ryo Hirakawa's car. Now, is he able to get that car back to the pit lane? He's got another 5 corners which he has to negotiate. I did say it could all change. And it looks like Hirakawa's race is done. It is! And that ends his hopes of becoming League 2 Drivers' Champion this season. It's game over for the Japanese. And it also means that Carlin will not become team's champions today. That will go on to the next round, whatever happens. It is still possible, though, for them to seal promotion to League 1 and for Callum Ilott to become Drivers' Champion. Further back, we're looking at the 2 reels of Alexander Rossi going through on his teammate Max Gunter. And further behind, we saw Ari Pullin getting past Danny and Kandaya. I'll resume where I left off with the calendar. It is Poznan for round 10, kick-starting the second half of season 5. It's off to Brno at the Czech Republic, Parnu in Estonia, which is the last European round of the season. We go to Marrakesh in Morocco, Kyalami in South Africa, New Delhi in India, Fuji in Japan, Sepang in Malaysia, and the 18th and final round will be in Adelaide. It is also followed by a non-championship round in Macau, involving the 13 highest scoring teams across the 2 leagues. There is Callum Ilott in the lead by just under 1.8 seconds over Nick Cassidy. For Ryo Hirakawa, it's 2 retirements in a row for him. 3 races without a point, which has curtailed his championship hopes. And then we see Nick Cassidy in 2nd place. He's only made it to the checker flag on 4 occasions this season, including his race win in Parnu. He had a victory snatched away from him when he suffered a suspension issue on the last lap at Dijon-Bourgogne. But both drivers are still in the race so far. Their hopes for promotion are still alive for the time being. And we see the primer of Louis. It's Tomoki Nijiri. Is it Tomoki? No, it's not. Sorry, it's Louis Foster. It's Louis Foster who's suffered a front suspension failure. A front suspension failure for Louis Foster has forced him to retire. It's great news for Dome. It's bad news for Prema and for team manager Alex Johnston. And they will not seal promotion today, whatever happens from here. That allows Motoro Miyata to go up into 3rd place. 2 domes in the top 3. Jess Hawkins to go up into 8th place, Inter Puvasakis 9th, and Alex Palou in the final points paying position in 10th for Ram. As we see Nick Cassidy coming in for his first pit stop. He is going to be doing the 2-stop strategy. Be interesting to see how much time he loses by doing this pit stop. He's stopping in his marks. Ilott remains out there. Is he doing the 2 stop as well? Or is he looking to do the 1? My instinct is that he'll be doing the 2. Jake Dennis comes in for Andretti, which will allow Nick de Vries to go through. Jess Hawkins is into the pits, as is Matt Campbell. And Nick Cassidy has exited the pit lane now already. But Ritoyo Miata isn't going to make it to the end. And Dome's race has taken a shattering blow. Ritoyo Miata pulls off the circuit with yet another mechanical failure. And Dome's season gets even worse. And their hopes for promotion are virtually dashed now. Not what they needed at this stage. They needed both cars to get to the end. It's not going to happen. Ritoyo Miata retires from the lead to Sepoong Grand Prix. Looking at Cassidy going through sector 1, he's probably lost about 28 seconds by pitting in. Victor Martin in 9th place now for Saxby. Callum Ilott comes in. He's responding to Cassidy. What will Najiri decide to do? Will he decide to do something different? No, he is in as well. Nick de Vries is also coming into the pits, which will allow Intha Puvasak. Will he lead the race? No, it won't. It will be Callum Ilott unless Intha Puvasak can get through at turn 1. It's Ilott who remains in front. Ilott keeps hold of the lead even straight after his pit stop. Cassidy is now going to be stuck behind Intha Puvasak as well. He needs to get past him. There he is, so Ilott ahead of Intha Puvasak and Cassidy. They go through turn 7. Jake Dennis further back, overtaking Dennis Hauger for 8th place. Next one ahead of Dennis is Max Gunter, as we see Ilott pulling away from Cassidy, who's just got through now on Intha Puvasak. So it's as you were. Ilott ahead of Cassidy. Van Dorn going through on Browning further back. That is for position, and that's for 18th place. 5 drivers out of the race. Ritoyo Miata, Louis Foster, Ria Hirakawa, Paul Aron, and Kimi Antonelli. See Pato Ward going through. That looks like Alex Palou. He's just got past there. Palou is dropping back. I think has he been in for a pit stop as Palou, or has he picked up an issue? That looked too easy of an overtake from O Ward to get through on Palou. We are seeing more pit lane activity. Victor Martin comes in. Jake Dennis finding a way through on Max Gunter for 5th position on circuit. Alexander Rossi comes in. Palou has remained out there for the time being. Now Tomoki Nijiri running in P7. Gets past Max Gunter. He needs Ilott to hit trouble at some point in this race. There's no way he's going to be catching him in regards to raw pace. It's been a sensational race so far for Callum Ilott, and it's been a brilliant race so far for the likes of Taz Intha Puvasak, who's kept out of trouble so far. I don't think the 1-stop is going to be the way to go around here, though. But we'll see how he gets on. He's got a big margin at the moment over Matteo Caroli. And there's the table as it stands. Callum Ilott will be Drivers' Champion of League 2. He's doing more than enough. we see a pit stop from Matteo Caroli. And we look at Dennis Hauger, who's running in 19th position. The only Tolman left in the race. Max Gunther comes into the pits, as does Sarah Moore. And Cassidy in second place. Doing his best to stay in touch. There is Victor Martin going through on Matteo Caroli for 13th position. Look at Sarah Moore. She has that 30-second time penalty hanging over her. It's highly unlikely she'll come away with any points today. Only 2 points finishes all season for her at Indianapolis and in Anderstorp, compared to her teammate Sarah Moore, who's finished in the points on 7 occasions. Nick Cassidy in second place, still behind Ilott, the only dome left in the race now. Look at Dennis Hauger, who's behind the LaRousse of Abby Pullin. Look at Infa Povasak in third place. The Thai driver going phenomenally well so far. 10 seconds clear of Jake Dennis, who's already pitted. It's going to be unlikely that Dennis is going to pass Infa Povasak before Infa Povasak comes in for his stop. If Infa Povasak was to pit in now, he would rejoin round about where Stoff Van Dorn is at. And there's Jess Hawkins being overtaken by De Vries, but contact is made, and De Vries flies in the air, and he's out of the race. That was totally inflicted by the Dutchman. He locked up as he tried to get through on the Surtees, and I have to say, the Surtees team manager Jake Sanson will be livid, as will Jess Hawkins, for absolutely certain. A major shunt there. And De Vries was very lucky not to take out Hawkins, otherwise that would have been a race ban coming his way. Hawkins in the gravel trap. Her race is ruined thanks to that. De Vries is out of the race following that crash, and Andretti will not seal promotion here in Sepoong. De Vries goes from this race. Hawkins is still in the gravel trap, but she's getting out now by the looks of it. But she needs to make sure she rejoins safely here. And yeah, she's turning the car around. She just needs to be aware of Théo Pourchaire's presence. And Pourchaire is behind. And the stewards have concluded that Nick De Vries will start from the back of the grid next time out in Sepang. And it's not what Andretti needed at this stage of the season. And Yucadea goes off the circuit. It looks like turn number 1. It has the been a coming together, involving his teammate Pato O'Ward. What is going on with the Dams team today? Palou got through on Yucadea into turn 1. O'Ward tried to go for a gap that wasn't there, and that was totally O'Ward's fault. Yucadea will be looking to get back onto the circuit at some point in the near future. Just he's got to make sure he rejoins safely so he doesn't take out anyone as he rejoins. And the gaggle of cars he has to overtake. He's back on the track now, way down the order. And Pato O'Ward has picked up a 10-second time penalty and a back of the grid penalty for the next race in Sepang for causing the incident. There is one Carlin, one Dome, one Andretti, and one Prema left in this race. Callum Ilott leads, Nick Cassidy is second, and it's Taz Inthapuvasek in the 40 in P3, who has not stopped yet. And then it's Jake Dennis and Tom Cairns. Inthapuvasek does come in now at the end of lap 23, and I can imagine he'll be going to the end. That allows Dennis and Najiri through. Matt Campbell goes up into 5th place in the Ram, and Alex Below will be in 6th place. Ram are having a better race of it for once. They're first in a while. There's Luke Browning, who locks up, goes off the circuit. Does he rejoin back onto the circuit? Safely enough, he does so. So no drama there. It's been a miserable race so far for the Brit. He's back on the track in 20th position. Dennis and Najiri in 3rd and 4th places. Even if Najiri was to finish 2nd and Ilott winning the race, it wouldn't be enough for Najiri to keep the championship fight going unless he was to take the fastest lap point away from Nick Cassidy. He's right behind Dennis. And Inthapuvasek, after his pit stop, has encountered mechanical gremlins here, and he's out of the race. What a terrible, terrible shame for him. And it's a gearbox failure that has put the 40 on the sidelines. And that makes the likes of Ilott, Cassidy, Dennis and Najiri's jobs easier here. We see Van Don, who's having a storming race. From the back of the field, he's already up to P7, past Patrick Ward. If there's a contender for driver of the day, Van Don would certainly be a candidate for that. Ward is 8th. Matteo Caroli has quietly made his way up into 9th place, ahead of Victor Martin. It's Alexander Rossi, Dennis Hauger, Max Gunter, Abby Pullin and Sarah Moore, all of which will be angling for points today, given how this race has gone so far. We're past the halfway point in the race now, 25 laps done, 24 to go. Ilott's lead is 2 seconds over Nick Cassidy. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Nothing is certain in the Grand Prix World Series. And we see Cassidy in 2nd place, going through turn number 5. All hopes from Dome rest on him. Return Miata already out of the race. Miata won't be scoring. Cassidy does hold the point for pole position, which is his to keep, no matter what happens. Cassidy holds the point for the fastest lap. Candeo comes in. I think this is his only stop of the race. It's unlikely he's going to be scoring any points today. "19 cars left in the race, 7 out." There we see the Andretti and the Prema. Jake Dennis coming on form. 2 podiums, or 3 podiums in the last 5 races, including his race win in Istanbul. He'll be moving up to 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship as it stands. Cassidy doing his best to stay in touch with Callum Ilott. Remaining rounds of the season, Sepoong next time out, and it's Phillip Island for the season finale. It's possible that all of the important matters of League 2 could be wrapped up. The Drivers' Championship, which, with the way things are going, is potentially going to be wrapped up today. Cullen's promotion to League 1 will be sealed. And who knows, with Andretti and Prema, they could seal promotion next time out in Sepoong. And Carlin could seal the team's championship. I've just seen Palou go through on Matt Campbell, and I wonder if Campbell has suffered a problem somewhere. We'll find out in a moment. We see Van Dorn go through on Campbell. We want to have a look at the Australian. Campbell, I'd imagine, is going to be in the pits at the end of the lap, or at least he should be. He's into the pits now, is Campbell. Well, he's dropped down the order, he had a problem, which has forced him into the pits, and that's a turn for the worse for him. The last time Carlin failed to score, was in Indianapolis. Huey Carroll was in the lead at the time when he pulled out, and Callum Ilott dropped out of the race a few laps after. They've come away with something at every race since then. And Nick Cassidy, well, his hope every time he gets into his dome car is finishing the race and scoring big. Matt Campbell has rejoined in 15th position behind Sarah Moore. He might be able to go to the end. That would be his aim. Ilott, Cassidy, Dennis and Najiri all won races this season. Alex Palou likewise. Stoff Van Dorn has yet to win this season. Saxspeed have yet to win in the Grand Prix Series. This is their 46th event. Can Saxspeed get a strong result out of this? Both their drivers are in the top 10 right now. Pato Ward's time penalty will drop him out of the points, promoting Matteo Caroli, Alexander Rossi, Victor Martin and Dennis Hauger, who could bag another point for Michael Gillespie's Tolman team. As for Matteo Caroli and LaRousse, they've had very little to celebrate, down last in the team's championship. The yellow flags are out, and it's Caroli who's pulled off from 8th place. What a shame for team manager Chris Hosey. When is he going to catch a break? It's race over for the Italian, who pulls up behind Taz Interpovicek's 40. And that's another one gone from this race. That promotes Rossi, Martin and Hauger into the points. Max Gunter will be doing his best to get up there. He will not overtake O'Ward. This is too far behind. He's going for his 4th win of the campaign, the 5th of his Grand Prix Series career. 5 points last season when he was a LaRousse driver. Before today, he had 164, and it'll be 189 by the end of this race, which will see him clinch the Drivers' Championship in League 2. Second round of pit stops are not too far away. See Ilott still getting the hammer down, knowing that he's under pressure from Nick Cassidy, who's remained in touch with him since the start. Ilott's getaway from the lights was sensational. Far from done. We've got 2 battles going on at the top, one for the lead and one for 3rd place. We've got Van Dorn, who's closing in on Alex below in the fight for 5th position. Now on lap 32, Ilott looking good, and Carlin are looking good to seal promotion with the way things are going. Team manager Perry Brown will be feeling a little bit more nervous now, I'd have thought, at this stage. Interesting to see who decides to pit in first. Will it be Ilott or will it be Cassidy? Cassidy came in a lap before Ilott in the first round of pit stops. There is Ilott. Even if he was to finish in 2nd place, if he was to finish in 2nd, it wouldn't be enough for him to seal promotion because Najiri is running in 4th. So it's important for Ilott to stay in the lead. Porsche at the back in 16th place. Behind him are Luke Browning and Danny Yunkandea. We've got pit lane activity and it's over at Dome. Nick Cassidy in from 2nd place. Don't think it'll be enough to get out in front of Cassidy over Dennis or Najiri. He'll be coming out of the pits shortly. There goes Dennis and there goes Najiri. So Cassidy will rejoin in 4th place. What will Carlin decide to do now? It's vitally important that Cassidy doesn't get stuck behind traffic here now. O'Ward pits in for Dams from 7th place. Now will Cassidy decide to go through here? He won't do it at this corner. Now, if I was Carlin, I would bring Callum Ilott in now. And he's coming up to back markers. You can just see Luke Browning. And Cassidy goes through on Najiri here. This shouldn't be a contest. It's not a contest. Cassidy on the fresher tyres gets past Tomek Najiri for 3rd place. And it's Jake Dennis who stands in the way between him and Callum Ilott. Ilott has stayed out there. Goes past the Tolman of Dennis Hauger, who's just come in for his last stop. This is highly important for Callum Ilott to not be stuck in traffic now. Cassidy's got the gap down to less than 28 seconds. And he's got Jake Dennis to get through here. Cassidy goes past Jake Dennis for second place just before the corner. And now he can go about setting some fastest laps to complete an undercut on Callum Ilott. And Ilott is under attack here from Dennis Hauger, who will be on the fresher tyres. If I was Ilott, I would come in at the end of the lap. You can see the number of back markers that he's about to encounter are increasing. Carlin needs to bring Ilott in this lap to stay in the lead and to wrap up the Drivers' Championship today. Dennis and Najiri are there. I think Cassidy is doing enough to get the gap down on Ilott. Porsche comes in for Coloni, and Ilott has stayed out there. And he's just been unlapped by Dennis Hauger. This is costing Callum Ilott dear here. I don't think Ilott has picked up an issue, but Dennis Hauger has just managed to unlap himself on fresher tyres and has unlapped the Brit. Things are getting rather tense now in the Carlin garage. Have they handed it to Dome on a plate? Well, Nick Cassidy has posted a new fastest up of the race, a 1 minute 26.6 for the Kiwi. Jake Dennis comes in for his final stop. The same for Tomoki Najiri. Cassidy in P2. But it's unlikely he'll remain in P2 for long because he's getting the gap down on Ilott all the time. Stoffel van Don comes in from 6th position in the sack speed. The gap is coming down to what will be less than 24 seconds here. Ilott will be on a few laps fresher rubber to Cassidy and is coming into the pits now. We see Matt Campbell as Van Dorn gets out just in front of him for a brief moment before Campbell sends one up the inside, and that is the Australian back into the points in 8th place. It's top 10 that score points in the Grand Prix series. Ilott is in. Cassidy is about to take the lead in a moment. There's no doubt about that. Van Dorn goes through on Campbell. Will be able to stay in the points. Well, Cassidy has posted another new fast up of the race, and he has snatched the lead from Callum Ilott. Nick Cassidy has completed the undercut on his rival, and he is on course for his second Grand Prix Series win, unless Ilott has anything to respond. Dennis and Najiri are in 4th and 5th places. If the positions remain as they were, Ilott would be crowned champion, but Najiri has got back into 4th place. Ilott's only hope now, if he is to take the title, is either get back through on Cassidy or go and set the fastest lap. Sarah Moore comes in for Surtees, as does Victor Martin. Jess Hawkins is also in. I wonder if there's been a bit of a miscommunication over at Surtees, or whether one of their drivers has picked up an issue. Luke Browning has also come in for 40. Now, Callum Ilott stayed out 3 laps later than Cassidy. The gap is 4.2 seconds. Still 4.2 seconds. Cassidy is coming up to back markers. There is Théo Pourchaire, and ahead of Pourchaire is Jess Hawkins. Both of Well, Hawkins has just been in the pits. It hasn't been too long since Porsche was in the pits. 2 or 3 laps ago. You can see Cassie getting held up now. Behind Théo Pourchaire. And Jake Dennis is in 3rd place ahead of Tom Cairns. Gap between Cassidy and Ilott is 4 seconds. And that'll be because Cassidy been held up by Théo Pourchaire on this lap. And you can see, continuing to get held up, and this is costing Dome Deer here. Cassidy gets through on Pourchaire, although Pourchaire is still trying to fight back with the Dome, which will give Colour a little bit of encouragement. Ilott is coming round on fresh tyres. Is he doing enough to take the fast lap point away from Nick Cassidy? The answer to that question is no, he's not. We're right on board with Alex Blow, who's rejoining 6th place behind Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn from last place has made his way up into 5th position. What a race he has had. Alexander Rossi running a 9th for Riel, who's yet to score since his return to the Grand Prix World Series. In fact, Rossi will move ahead of O'Ward once O'Ward's time penalty has been applied. As it stands, O'Ward will drop to 10th position. Twelve laps to go here in Sepoong. Dome are on course for their 3rd win of the campaign. Cassie's 2nd this season. The gap is down to 2.1 seconds. Cassie coming around the last corner, the 14th and last corner of this 4.5 kilometre circuit of Sepoong, located in South Korea. Ilott will be coming up to lap Pourchaire in a moment. Gap is 1.9. Right on board with Jake Dennis, who's half a minute off the race lead. Doing enough for another podium finish. It'll be his third place in the last 5 races. And Callum Ilott has lapped Théo Pourchaire. Nick Cassidy will be lapping Jess Hawkins very shortly. There is Jess Hawkins, who is going through on Danny Unkandea. This is for 15th position. Hawkins is through, so it will not be Hawkins that will be the next driver for Cassidy to lap. It will be Unkandea. There we see Callum Ilott in 2nd place. Was the race leader before the 2nd round of pit stops. He's no longer in the lead. As it stands, the Drivers' Championship will not be clinched. Ilott needs to outscore Nijiri by at least 7 points. At the moment, he's outscoring him by 6. Seconds is the margin between the Kiwi and the Brit. 2.2 seconds is the margin in the fight for 3rd place between Dennis and Nijiri. And Unkandea gets lapped by Nick Cassidy. It won't be too long before Ilott gets onto the rear of the Dams. Callum Ilott in a strong exit. 10 laps to go. How long will it be before Ilott finds his way past the Dams here? be able to do it here, I should think. He's not able to do it through turn number 10. Now we're looking at Rossi, who is running in 9th position on circuit. Not anymore, because Victor Martin has got past the American. So Martin goes through into 9th place, Rossi down to 10th. See, as it stands, 52 points will be the margin, with only 54 left on the table after this round. Ilott has to overtake Nick Cassidy if he is to take the Drivers' Championship today. It's not impossible. The gap is down to just 1.8 seconds, just under. Ahead of Cassidy is Jess Hawkins, and that will probably be the last back marker that they will face before this race is over. Ilott doing his best. Really has to dig deep here, and unless anything happens to his rivals out of his own control. You see Victor Martin in 9th place on circuit. He'll go up to P8 once O'Ward's time penalty has been applied. O'Ward, as it stands, will be dropping to P11. He'll fall out of the points. Dennis Hauger is doing just enough to snatch a point. Jake Dennis in P3. What is certain at the moment is that Carlin are about to seal promotion to League One for Season 5. They came into the rounds 114 points clear over Dome and 115 over Ram. Needs to be at least 91 points clear of those two teams to seal promotion, and they're doing just that right now. Callum Ilott in 2nd place. On lap 42. Cassidy leads. The gap is 1.9 seconds with 7 laps remaining. Cassidy will be coming up to lap Jess Hawkins very shortly. Porsche getting through on Daniel Kandaya for 16th position. Behind Kandaya is Luke Browning, who is the last of the runners. There is Cassidy. And there is Kandaya, overtaken by Browning. Kandaya looks like he's going to be finishing his so-called cameo appearance in last place today for Dams. It's been a miserable day for them. Both drivers tangling, inflicting both of their races. And Cassidy is getting held up now behind Jess Hawkins. That might just give Ilott some form of hope. Cassidy thought about going through on Hawkins, but Hawkins is too far ahead. Cassidy going through just about now. Loses time. And Hawkins lets him through at last. Although Hawkins is going to get into the slipstream, and she might attempt to go back through on Cassidy. So we're into turn 1 now. She's still almost on the rear of him as they come out of turns 1, 2 and 3. Now out of 4 they come. This is the back straight before turn number 5. Dennis in 3rd place. Looking good for another podium. Nigiri looks set to settle for 4th position. He'll at least keep the Drivers' Championship going for the time being at least. Going back to saying about the permutation, Ilott needs to outscore Nigiri by 9 points, but Martin is pulling out of the race in the sap speed. And it's a disappointing end to his spirited drive. And it's a gearbox failure for him. So Ilott needs to get through on Cassidy if he's going to take the championship today. Nine points more than Nigiri is what Ilott needs. .46 points was the margin coming into today. So Ilott has to outscore Nigiri by 9 points. Now, 2 ways it could happen. He gets through on Cassidy, or Nigiri hits trouble. Callum Ilott has got through on Hawkins at last. The gap is now 1.6 seconds. They might just catch up to Abby Pullen before this race is over. Dome and the Carlin still leading 1 and 2. Dennis and Nigiri are 3rd and 4th. You see Jake Dennis in P3. Staying ahead of Nigiri. Andretti will stay in 2nd place ahead of Kramer with the way the positions are right now. Carlin are on the brink of sealing promotion to League One. And there we see Nick Cassidy. The gap is now 1.7 seconds. And Cassidy's slowing! And Ilott is into the lead, which is what he needs to seal the League 2 Drivers' Championship. In contrast, Nick Cassidy is out of the race. Team manager David Young has his head in his hands. But for Carly team manager Perry Brown, it's the dream scenario. Nick Cassidy retires from the League 2 Sepoong Grand Prix with 4 laps remaining. Callum Ilott needed something to go his way, and Lady Luck has been on his side today. Callum Ilott leads the League 2 Sepoong Grand Prix. Jake Dennis is 2nd, and Tommy Kinituri is in 3rd. With the way things as it is, Ilott will be outscoring the jury by 10 points, which will be enough for Ilott to be crowned the League 2 Drivers' Champion today. He just needs to make no more mistakes from here on in. Promotes Stuff Van Dorn up into 4th place for Sax Speed. Alex Boy will be 5th. Patawar's time penalty will drop him down to 9th position behind Dennis Hauger. What rotten luck again for Dome. And that pretty much spells their hopes of salvaging promotion this season. For Ilott, well, he just needs to get to the end. Carlin are almost there. They won't win the Team's Championship today, but they can seal promotion and the Drivers' Championship for Callum Ilott. There is Najiri. He will be still a third distance ahead of Jake Dennis in the fight for second place in the Drivers' Championship. Couldn't do anything about the leaders. Ilott is over half a minute ahead of second place Jake Dennis. What a remarkable development. Callum Ilott is round about 6 kilometres away from sealing his first championship in the Grand Prix Series, the League 2 Drivers' title. He's about to start the last lap here. He knows there's still one more lap to do to get through. And Tom Cairns, well, he won't be too disappointed, I thought. He had a mountain to climb coming into today. Callum Ilott has started the final lap of the League 2 Sepoong Grand Prix. 5 points last season when Callum Ilott was a LaRousse driver. Came into Carlin not really knowing what he was going to be able to achieve. Perry Brown snapping him up to give him that chance. Got on with the job. Settled in nicely with the team. And he's about to deliver something special. Carlin, after a season of discovery and challenges they've had to face when they had Luciano Becchetta and Fabio Lima in their team, both of them have moved on and Perry Brown brought in Callum Ilott and Rio Hirakawa. Hirakawa has had his fair share of fame, but Callum Ilott is about to pick up the ultimate prize, the League 2 Drivers' Championship, and Carlin to get promotion to League 1. Callum Ilott exits the last corner to win the League 2 Sepoong Grand Prix. Callum Ilott is the League 2 Drivers' Champion of the Grand Prix World Series. What a day for team manager Perry Brown. What a day for Callum Ilott. Tears will be running down his cheeks inside that crash helmet. Jake Dennis will head over the line in second place, and Tom Cairns will be third for Prema. And Carlin can celebrate for another reason. Promotion to League 1. Dennis third, Dennis second, Najiri third, Topher Van Dorn. Driver of the day, arguably. Last place to fourth position for Zaxby. They keep their run of points finishes going. Topher Van Dorn fourth, Alex Blow fifth. Pato Awards time penalty will drop him down what is expected at the moment to be 9th, unless Matt Gunter can get on with it and get the gap down a little bit more. Polo is 5th, Matt Campbell will be promoted to 6th, a good haul of points for Ram today. Rossi will be 7th, Hauger will be 8th, and what about Matt Gunter? Has he done enough? No, he hasn't. Award is 9th, Gunter takes the final point in 10th, Jesmo will drop behind Abby Pullin. There is your race winner and the League 2 Drivers' Champion. It is Callum Ilott for Carlin in Sepoong. Jake Dennis second, over half a minute behind. Tomek Inajiri in third place. Stoffel Van Dorn fourth. Alex Palou in fifth place. Matt Campbell sixth. Alexander Rossi in seventh place. His first point since his return to the Grand Prix World Series. Dennis Hauger in 8th for Tolman. Pato Ward with his time penalty is 9th. And Matt Gunter getting 2 reals into the top 10. Abby Point just missing out on points in 11th. Sarah Moore is 12th after her time penalty. Jess Hawkins, Luke Browning, Teo Porcher, Denny and Kandea with the rest of those to take the checker flag. Nick Cassidy from being in the lead, classified in 17th. Victor Martin, Matteo Caroli, Taz Infa were all out of the race, as were Nick DeFries after colliding with Jess Hawkins. Ritoyo Miyata also out for Dome. Louis Foster, Rio Hirakawa, Paul Aron, and Kimi Antonelli were the rest to not finish. Nick Cassidy took the points for pole position and the fastest lap. Celebrations are going to go on long into the night for Carlin. Promotion to League One is sealed for them. But for Callum Ilott, for him, it's the League 2 Drivers' Championship trophy heading into his cabinet. A remarkable day, a milestone day for team manager Perry Brown of the Carlin squad. The team's championship is not clinched yet, but they are very nearly there. What a day for him. Contrast to last season, where not a lot had gone their way. This season, it's very much gone their way, and his way as well. Will they seal the team's championship in Sepoong? We'll have to find out very, very soon. It's time to run down on the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. Carlin are promoted to League 1. Callum Ilott is the League 2 Drivers Champion.
A huge congratulations to Callum Ilott for taking the Season 4 League 2 Drivers' Championship. What a season it has been for the Brit. He's put together such a consistent campaign, not been a victim of reliability issues too many times, and he's made his performances count when it matters. So well deserved, and a huge congratulations to Callum Ilott and to Perry Brown for picking up the driver's title this season. Looking at how the points stand with the championship decided and 2 rounds still to go, Callum Ilott, of course, champion on 189 points. He can still add to that in the last 2 races, though. Tomek Inajiri still second on 133 points, just a little bit too far out of reach of Ilott now, but Najiri still with a very impressive season himself. Jake Dennis third on 111 ahead of Alex Palou on 104. Nick DeFries on 90 ahead of Hirakawa on 89. And then Stoffel Van Dorn, Ritoyo Miyata, Kimi Antonelli and Nick Cassidy round out the top 10. How will the rest of those positions change when we come to the end of the season? We can't wait to find out who will take the honours of Vice Champion in League 2 this season. And in the team standings, I can confirm that Carlin has been promoted into League 1 for Season 5. The championship is not wrapped up just yet, but promotion is confirmed for Perry Brown, and he will race in League 1 next season. As far as the rest of the teams are concerned, the title can still mathematically be won by Carlin, Andretti, or Prema Racing, although you'd have to say it would have to take a miracle for Carlin not to win it now. But as far as the promotion battle is concerned, we have Ram and Dome also within mathematical contention for that. It's going to be a fierce battle to see which of those 4 teams will pick up the last 2 promotion slots when we race in Sepang and Phillip Island to see out the season. Looking down the rest of the order at the moment, Zach Speed on 118 ahead of Cologne on 89, 40 Corsi on 69, Downs on 54, Surtees on 44, Real on 32, Tolman on 21, and LaRousse on 6. Nothing left to contend for those teams except a bit of pride in the last 2 races, and we hope that they can see out the season on a positive note. Looking ahead to League 1 now, where the championship is anything but decided with 3 rounds left to go. Felix Rosenquist leads the way on 129, 15 ahead of Earl Bamber on 114, Buemi on 111, Scott McLaughlin 4th on 102, Joseph Newgarden on 98 ahead of Jean-Eric Verne on 90, Kamui Kobayashi 7th on 59, and then Mahavira Kunathan, Raffaele Marcello and Nicholas Latifi rounding out the top 10. Still plenty of drivers left in contention for the League 1 drivers' title. And as far as the teams are concerned, Leighton House leads the way on 212, 11 ahead of Prost on 201, and then Arrows falling a bit further behind on 157. and the green line there denoting which teams are safe from relegation. So as it stands, the top 3 will be competing in League One next season, and everyone from HRT down, not mathematically safe from relegation just yet, but of course some more likely than others. HRT are 140 chasing down Arrows for third. Force India on 109 ahead of BAR on 107 and Simtech on 102. Minardi 8th on 84, with the red line there denoting which teams can still win the championship, although I don't think it's going to be Minardi this season, to be completely honest. Onyx on 72, Manor on 51 rounds out the top 10, and currently in those 3 relegation spots, Mastercard Lola, Fometal and Pacific Grand Prix, and they will be doing everything that they can to lift themselves out of those bottom 3 positions and stay safe for League One next season. There are no driver changes to bring you for League One, with the exception of Roman Grosjean returning from his latest disqualification. So let's get straight down to the grids, and it is Nicholas Latifi on pole in the BAR, less than half a tenth ahead of Scott McLaughlin. McLaughlin chasing down the championship title this season. Mahabir Raghunathan third in the second BAR, ahead of Jean-Eric Verne in fourth. Christopher Bell puts both HRTs into the top 5, ahead of Buemi in the Prost, one of our championship contenders. Earl Bamber 7th in the Leighton House, ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi. Kevin Estre with a good performance in the Onyx in 9th, and Scott Dixon rounds out the top 10. Kyle Kirkwood today is the lead Arrows on the grid. Joseph Newgarden 12th in the Leighton House. Lawrence Van Tor 13th ahead of Raffaele Marcello. Mitch Evans 15th in the Manor ahead of Jack Aiken in the Force India. And Felix Rosenquist, our championship leader, with a really poor qualifying performance, 7/10 of a second off of Latifi, and he will start today's race from P17. Felipe Nasser 18th in the Fometal ahead of Roman Grosjean and Shane van Gisbergen, and then at the back, Daniel Kvyat, Pietro Fittipaldi, Brendan Hartley, Oliver Behrman, Marcus Ericsson and Kamui Kobayashi propping up the field in the Simtech. Well, no titles can be decided in League One today, but we're still set for a thrilling race, which could have plenty of implications for the championship. We'll waste no more time in getting this one started, so let's head on back to our commentator, Tom Cairns, to get this one underway. Tom, take it away.
3 races to go, and 6 drivers still have a genuine chance of claiming the Grand Prix World Series title by Phillip Island. The 5 red lights are coming on now. When they extinguish for one last time today, we'll go racing. Lights are on, lights are off, and Latifi gets away very, very well, as does McLaughlin. Looking at Buemi, he's made a super start from 4th on the grid. It looks like he's about to get through, and there's Felix Rosenquist, who's already out in the Arrows. From 17th on the grid, the championship leader, Felix Rosenquist, has already hit trouble for another driver, and another twist in the title race has just happened as the race has barely got underway. We're going to get a look to see who ran into Rosenquist, and Roman Grosjean, who's already been disqualified from 3 races this season for taking out other drivers. Was he the one responsible? It was Grosjean who was responsible. He ran into the championship leader, Felix Rosenquist. Rosenquist will be livid, as will team manager Topher Smith, for absolutely certain. Rosenquist pulls to the side, he's lifted over the barrier. He will not be scoring any points today. But for Sebastian Buemi, in contrast, is into the lead for Prost. And Grosjean is without a rear wing. His rear wing has gone off his car, and Roman Grosjean has been given yet another race ban and is disqualified from this race. Unbelievable start. Drama already on the first lap. Rosenquist on the sidelines already, and he's got to hope his rivals hit trouble later in the race. And that all but ends Arrows' chances in the team's championship as well. And we look at Dixon and Giovinazzi, who are up to 2nd and 3rd places. They started way down the order, those two. Giovinazzi started 8th on the grid, Dixon had started 10th on the grid, and they're both up into the podium places. They both have made an absolutely super start from the pair of them. Scott McLaughlin's in 4th place, Latifi down to 5th from pole position. Then it's Raghunathan, Newgarden, Verne, Bamber and Kevin Estre inside the points. Sebastian Buemi into the lead of the race. And it's Dixon, Giovinazzi and McLaughlin. And there we see Christopher Bell going through on the Onyx of Kevin Estre. He's got through. And behind Estre now is Rafael Marcello and Felipe Nasr. Grosjean into the pits for a new rear wing. And his race is very much done. And there we see Dixon a little too deep into turn 5. And there is Dixon, there is Giovinazzi. Both trying to keep up with Buemi. This is playing into the hands of Prost right now. With Buemi in the lead and Bamber way down in 9th place. Buemi will be back into the championship lead with the positions as they are, but it's very early days. Buemi a little too deep into the last corner, but he's okay as we speak. Coming around to complete the second lap in P1. Latifi now has the fastest up of the race. I don't think it'll be too long before we see an overtake as we see Marcello go through on Kevin Estre for 11th place in the Force India. For Prost, the way things are going, they'll be into the lead again of the team's championship ahead of Leighton House. Buemi getting 25 points with the way things are going. Fern getting another 4 for the Prost team. They'll go on to 230 points. Leighton House with Newgarden in 7th and Bamber in 9th. They'll be getting only 8. Make that 7 now because Bamber's just been overtaken by Christopher Bell. So Bell gets through on Bamber. Leighton House will be on 219 points with the way this race is going for them. There is Dixon, there is Giovinazzi holding up a queue of cars now. As they end the 3rd lap, and we look at Kevin Estre ahead of Felipe Nasr. And it looks like Nasr's going to go through on Estre. Vitally important that Von Mattel gets some points today. The same for Moscard Lola. Manor not quite inside the points yet. The highest of their cars is Mitch Evans in 15th. Dixon 3.5 seconds off the race lead of Sebastian Buemi. Carl Kirkwood going through on Mitch Evans for 15th position. He's yet to finish a race since he's filled in for Oliver Rowland as Kirkwood. But what a start for Sebastian Buemi, doing what Callum Ilott did in the Lead 2 race and getting the jump. On board with Scott Dixon. Comes round to start lap number 5. Buemi continuing to stretch out the margin. There we see Latifi in the BAR, moving back in front of Scott McLaughlin into 4th place. Race winner at Autopolis, Nicholas Latifi, becoming the 20th different race winner this season. A new record for the Grand Prix World Series. And we see Dixon. Two Minardis in the top 3. Minardi are the only team out of all the 26 in the Grand Prix World Series this season who have yet to register a double race finish. way to go yet. Still got the pit stops to come. In the BAR going through on McLaughlin for 5th place at turn number 1, and the Indian finds his way past the race winner in Zolder through ahead of the race winner in Anderstorp. Now Kyle Kirkwood is trying to make his way through on Kevin Esther, has been overtaken by the Force India of Jat Aiken. Bamber has dropped down to 11th position. Man, 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship coming into this round. He's picked up 2 wins this season. He had one in Mugello, and the other victory came a couple of rounds ago in Zhuhai. There's a change for position. That's Mitch Evans being overtaken by Lawrence Van Tor. Long way to go yet in this race, and there we see Giovinazzi, who's under threat from Nicholas Latifi on the pit straight. Can Latifi get into the slipstream and have a go into turn number 1? Not this time around, and he sits back. Meanwhile, Newgarden on the other, on the HRT, I should say, of Scott McLaughlin, and Newgarden is through into 6th position. McLaughlin beginning to drop back now. With Antonio Giovinazzi ahead of him is his teammate Scott Dixon. Minardi have taken 2 victories this season in Buenos Aires and Nürburgring. Latifi is all over the back of Giovinazzi now. Just the one retirement so far. Felix Rosenqvist, the championship leader, out of the race after being taken out by Roman Grosjean. Moves through, Giovinazzi. He's going to be overtaken by Latifi in a moment here, I think. We've come away from that, but Mitch Evans, right on board with, stuck behind Lawrence Van Tor. Behind Mitch Evans is the mascot Lola on Danny Kvyat. Through turn 1. Evans ahead of Kvyat and Van Gisbergen. Dixon over 4 seconds off race leader Sebastian Buemi. And Jean-Luc Verne has fallen behind Christopher Bell in 9th place. Latifi's got through on Giovinazzi, for your information. The overtake is done. Nicholas Latifi through ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi. Making up for lost time is the Canadian. There's Van Tor, there is Van Gisbergen, Kvyat. No, so it's Evans who's behind Van Tor, then it's Kvyat, then it's Van Gisbergen. Ollie Berman in the Simtek. It's Marcus Ericsson, Brendan Hartley, Pietro Fittipaldi, Kamui Kobayashi and Roman Grosjean, the last of those still running. Look at Sebastian Buemi in the lead right now. With the way the positions as they are, he'll take the lead. He'll be 7 points clear over Felix Rosenqvist with 2 races to go, which will present the first opportunity for the Swiss to seal the Grand Prix World Series title. Bumper is in 11th place. He's coming under attack now from the Fond Metal of Felipe Nasr. I wonder if El Bumper is on a lighter fuel, on a heavier fuel load compared to most of the others. And we look at Regunathan in 5th place, ahead of Newgarden. At McLaughlin and Bell further in the background, who are in 7 and 8. Oh, and Fittipaldi has crashed out! What has happened to the Brazilian Fittipaldi? Did he encounter a mechanical issue? I wonder if that's the case, actually. Oh no, he lost it by himself. It was not a mechanical issue. He tried to get back onto the circuit, but rode over the curbs too hard, and the Pacific's car has been ripped to shreds, and that plunges Kevin McMullen's team closer to relegation. Both wheels off the car, and Fittipaldi's race goes no further. Second driver to retire. At least he didn't take out anyone. We're on lap number 10. Buemi's lead is over 4 seconds on Scott Dixon, as Fittipaldi's car gets lifted over behind the barrier. Latifi going after Dixon for 2nd position now. You can see the field making their way around this 4.5 kilometre Sepoong circuit. Was never fully constructed. The whole project was abandoned before any form of racing could be allowed. Right on board with Dixon in 2nd place. He will not be crowned the Grand Prix Series champion for a 3rd season in a row. Of course, if he was to take a win, 80 points back, he's still out of contention anyways, Dixon, because Latifi already has the pole position point, and given that Latifi has the fast lap point, so even if Dixon was to win the race, given that Rosenqvist is already out, he's 80 points ahead, it's mathematically impossible for Dixon to stay in the championship fight mathematically. Right on board with Dixon. 2nd position. It's Latifi, Giovinazzi and Regunathan. Here's the situation with the championship, the way things are. Buemi will be into the lead on 136 points. Felix Rosenqvist will be 2nd on 129. Scott McLaughlin will be in 3rd place. No, it's Bamber who will be in 3rd place on 114. Scott McLaughlin will be 4th on a 108. Newgarden will be 5th on 106, and Fern will be in 6th place on 92. Regunathan has overtaken Giovinazzi for 4th position. That move was coming all along, and the BAR has got past. Sebastian Buemi's gap over Dixon is coming up to 5 seconds. We're on lap 12. Scott McLaughlin is now behind his teammate Christopher Bell for position, and Shane van Gisbergen has allowed the Simtech of Ollie Behrman to get through, and Marcus Ericsson. It looks like the Manor has picked up a loose wheel on the right front, and it looks like it's going to be another retirement for him and for the Manor team. Into the eyes of Sam Hull, who have been in a relegation fight since the season had started. Well, they are very much going to be staying in that relegation fight after this race. Shane van Gisbergen out of the race, joining Pietro Fittipaldi and Felix Rosenquist on the sidelines. The wheel's fallen off, which adds insult to injury. And the car ripping to shreds even more, thanks to the marshal. It's race over for the Manor. See Kevin Estra, who is behind Earl Bamber, who's fallen behind Jet Aiken now. Bamber down to 13th place, which is very unlike him, but it could prove to be apparent later. Buemi doing very well so far. There we see Kirkwood trying to get through on Estra for 14th. Buemi entering the last corner. He's going to head over the line to complete another lap. Still in the lead. Cross doing a fine job so far. TV still going after Dixon. The gap is 9/10 of a second. Look at Kevin Estra, who still battling it out with Earl Bamber for 13th. Buemi in the lead right now. But will it be a third win of the season heading in the way of him? 4 races without a finish for Sebastian Buemi. He's picked up a fastest lap point in that time in Anderstorp. He needs a good haul of points today to Sebastian Buemi, especially with Rosenquist already out. Meanwhile, for BAR and Minardi, they just want to end their seasons in a flourish, really. Going back to the leader. We'll be thinking about pitting in soon. This is the 15th lap out of 49. Buemi's teammate Vern is down in 9th place behind Scott McLaughlin. He might be thinking about a pit stop soon. Kevin Estra is all over the back of Earl Bamber still. Is he thinking about an overtake? Doesn't look like he's close enough to have a go just yet. There we see Kamui Kobayashi down in 22nd place behind the Pacific of Brendan Hartley. Dixon in P2 ahead of Latifi. So the car's coming towards turn number 1. This is the fight for P2 between the Kiwi and the Canadian. Gunnathon doing his best to keep up as well. Earl Bamber is about to be overtaken by Kevin Estra now. Bamber down another position. We'll see Prost, Sebastian Buemi, who has won races in the Grand Prix series for 3 different teams. He won for BAR in Season 2, for Leighton House in Season 3. He's won twice this season for Prost in Season 4. Further back, we're looking to see potentially Kyle Kirkwood going for it on Earl Bamber if he's feeling lucky. He's not got through on him this time around, so he remains back for the time being. Behind Gunnathon, Giovinazzi's under attack from Joseph Newgarden. We could well see an overtake in a moment. Lap 16 is completed. Buemi's lead is 5.4 seconds. He'll take the championship lead again as it stands. The headline story of the race so far is Felix Rosenqvist out of the race after being taken out by Romain Grosjean at the start. Christopher Bell, who's behind Newgarden and Giovinazzi. Bell has impressed since he substituted for the departing Alexander Sims for John Munro's team. And there we see Buemi, not far away from a pit stop, presumably. Stays out for another lap. Will anyone else decide to pit in? Buemi will feel that now is not a good time to be pitting in yet. And it looks like we're going to be seeing some pit lane activity at the end of this lap, and it's at Minardi. Scott Dixon comes in from 2nd position, as does Joseph Newgarden. So the 2 IndyCar rivals coming into the pits together. Felipe Nasr has also come into the pits for Metal. And Kyle Kirkwood has got in front now of Earl Bamber for position. Danica Fiat is in the pits for Marc Scarlola, and Mitch Evans likewise. This is playing into the hands of Sebastian Buemi right now. Just needs to make no mistakes, hope that the car lasts the distance, something which Prost have struggled to do in recent races. Latifi in P2, 6.5 seconds off the lead of Sebastian Buemi. Will we see any more pit stops this lap involving the leaders? Gunnathon stays out, Buemi stayed out, Latifi has stayed out. Giovinazzi likewise. I think Bell has stayed out as well. Kirkwood is coming to the pits by the looks of it, unless it's someone else. Well, Rafael Marciello is in. Kirkwood has managed to find his way into the pit lane. And we see Kvyat go off the circuit in the Mascot Lola, avoiding his teammate Romain Grosjean. He didn't hit anyone. He almost did what Pietro Fittipaldi did a little bit earlier on in the event. Kvyat back on track in last place. It doesn't look like Mascot Lola are going to be coming away with anything this time around. They've been good at scoring points in races of Mascot Lola, but they're not quite doing enough to overhaul Manor at this moment in time. Raghunathan in third place, Giovinazzi fourth. Grosjean comes in for the second time. It's his first scheduled stop. Dixon has some clear track ahead of him right now. He needs to be within 28 seconds of Buemi if he was to complete an undercut on him. And at the moment, the gap is only 35. There is Buemi. Latifi has come into the pits for BAR. Was ahead of Latifi before the round of pit stops had begun. Giovinazzi and Bell are also in. That releases McLaughlin and Verne Aiken up into 5th place. Estra now 6th. Vantor and Bamber move up positions. And Dixon should go past Latifi. Unless Latifi can hold him off for the time being. And we'll see Newgarden coming through there. Oh, he had to summon the brakes because Giovinazzi came out of the pits. And that's cost Newgarden time. Newgarden would have completed the overcut on Giovinazzi, but the timing of Giovinazzi coming out was very inconvenient for him. Hobb goes back ahead. Giovinazzi remains in front of Newgarden. Giovinazzi goes through on Hartley. There's a slam dunk overtake. It shouldn't be too long before Newgarden gets by as well. I'm going to think second place on track right now until he heads in. And Newgarden does go ahead of Brendan Hartley. And Buemi is coming from the race lead. Now McLaughlin and Verne. I think McLaughlin's staying out there, as will Verne. So McLaughlin takes over the lead of the race. Verne is now in second. Are either of these two looking to do the one stop? Jay Aiken also in for Force India. Vantor gets in front of Buemi, does he? No, he does not. No, Buemi holds him back. And it's important for Buemi actually because Bamber, who is yet to stop, is just behind Vantor. Buemi back out in third place on circuit. Bamber goes through on Vantor. This might be a chance for Buemi to go and get a fastest lap. These are the two leaders for the time being, McLaughlin and Verne. Still some way to go in this one. As we see Marcello up the inside of Brendan Hartley. And that's Hartley down another position. He hasn't stopped yet in this race as the Kiwi. I would imagine he's trying to go on the one stop. And Marcello off the racetrack in the Force India. After getting by Brendan Hartley just now, he's gone into the gravel trap. And yeah, he did exactly what Kvyat did. And just locked up. And he has to allow cars go through. There goes Kirkwood. Aiken as well. Latifi posts another new fast up of the race, a 1:26.6. Vantol has come into the pits for Onyx. And there goes Marcello back on the circuit now. He's down in 21st position. Coughlin's still in the lead, with Vern second. Coming towards half race distance now. It's looking strong for the Prost team. He's going to go for a fastest lap if he can help it. And there is Felipe Nasr at the inside of Brendan Hartley. This is for 11th position, and Nasr goes through rather sweetly. Felipe Nasr, who has yet to finish a race since... While we say that, Sebastian Buemi has posted a new fast up of the race at 1:26.3. Very important for Buemi's championship hopes. Going back to what I was saying about Felipe Nasr, he's failed to finish in the last 5 races that he has competed in. And that includes his disqualification at the Nürburgring. We saw an overtake as well on Earl Bamber, as we've been saying that, from Scott Dixon. Jet Aiken going past Kyle Kirkwood into turn 1. Third position. Looking good for his third win of the campaign, which will be the 6th win of his career. Mitch Evans in the sole surviving manner, being overtaken by Kevin Estra. Jean-Luc Verne pits in from second place at the end of lap 23. We expect him to go to the end of the race. Question is, where will he feed back out in terms of the traffic? We'll rejoin, I think, ahead of Brendan Hartley in 10th position. So we'll get past Nasr. Straight away, he'll have some clear track ahead of him. Scott McLaughlin, we expect him to do the one stop. When will he pit in? Latifi in third place. Your current race leader, Scott McLaughlin, and Estra off the track in the Onyx. He's the next to make a mistake. He tried to get through on Brendan Hartley. Got it all wrong. There he goes, running wide. And that allowed Mitch Evans to go back through. And he's having to wait for other cars to go by before he can rejoin safely. You just see Kobayashi go through, and Estra back on track now ahead of Roman Grosjean in 22nd position. Justin Buemi, 3.5 seconds behind McLaughlin. Buemi holds the point for the far side now. McLaughlin, who is into the pits now at the end of lap 25, will go to the end. And with Vern getting the gap down, we expect Vern to go ahead of McLaughlin. And then we see Marcello on the inside of Marcus Ericsson. Lead 2 drivers champion allowing the Force India through. Now we see Latifi and Raghunathan in second and third places. McLaughlin and Bamber are in the pits. Bamber, who has not had the best of races so far in this. He has to really fight for all of what he can get. It looks like we've seen an overtake here. I think McLaughlin came out of the pits in front of Jack Aiken. Did Aiken have to take evasive action, or was McLaughlin just minding his own business? Ooh, that's a bit dangerous, that, but that's just a part of the nature of the pit exit here in Sepoong. McLaughlin is now behind Aiken, but for how long? And Bamber has come out behind Ericsson in 18th place, just ahead of Christopher Bell. And Hartley will be coming out ahead of Roman Grosjean in 22nd. So with the positions as they are, Buemi will be collecting 26 championship points. He'll go back into the lead of the Drivers' Championship by 8 points over Felix Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist will be second on 129, with him out of the race and not scoring. Bamber is currently out of the points. He's not on course for any points, so he remains on 114. McLaughlin is in the points in 10th place. He will be staying in 4th place as it stands, although Newgarden's further up the order in 6th place with 8 championship points coming his way. He'll move in front of McLaughlin to 4th. McLaughlin will be 5th, and Vern will remain in 6th position. McLaughlin's just got through on Aiken now. Look at Mahavir Raghunathan in 3rd place. 2 BRs and 2 Minardis are not in the fight for the Drivers' or Teams Championships. They are determined to get a strong result out of this. Jono Vern has got through on Felipe Nasser. He's got ground to make up on Newgarden. He's got 7.5 seconds just over. Kobayashi, who's had a very challenging season in the Simsec. In regards to the relegation battle, none of Onyx, Manor, Marscod Lola, Fomitel or Pacific are set to be scoring. Although Nasser is running in 8th position for Fomitel, and if he was to remain there, that would move Fomitel in front of Marscod Lola. Fomitel will be 8 points from safety as it stands, and Giovinazzi in the Minardi is going to pull to the side, and Minardi's quest for a double finish continues. Giovinazzi's fire has put him out of the race. Another retirement for Giacomo Pagliaro's team. And the car looking very, very brittle. ripping to pieces every time it bounces on the gravel. The 4th driver to retire from this race. Menardi are not mathematically safe from relegation either, but realistically they should stay up. That allows Dixon through into 4th place. It's Newgarden, Verne, Nasser, McLaughlin, Aiken and Kirkwood. Here is Grosjean, who will be excluded from the race for taking out Felix Rosenqvist at the start. And which will be he's already been banned from 4 races this season, and he's set to be banned for a 5th one. If he takes out another driver in this race, that's his season over. Let's see if he's got the gap down to 5.4 seconds on Sebastian Buemi. Nasser is going through on Verne, and I think Verne has picked up a problem because he's allowed Nasser to go through, and McLaughlin is through as well. And Verne has slowed down in the cross yet again. More reliability woes are hitting the Prost team, and Verne's chances of becoming the Grand Prix World Series champion for the 2nd time are very much over now. Disappointing for the French team. And now Buemi is going to ensure that he gets his car to the end. And that promotes Nasser up into 6th place. And that's very important for Von Mattel, because the more they can get from this, the closer they can reach Manor. Mitch Evans is inside the points for Manor in 10th place. Murphy Raghunathan in P3 for BAR. Both BARs in the podium places. And we're looking at Van Tor, who's about to take that point away from Mitch Evans. He goes through, and that's a point gain for the Onyx team and for team manager Ryan Ferris. Further behind, we've got Earl Bamber and Christopher Bell, who are stuck behind the Mars Lola of Danny Kvyat. And ahead of Kvyat is Rafael Marcello in the Force India. Latifi crossing over the line, dropping back a little bit from points, now 5.7 seconds. Bamber goes through ahead of Kvyat into 14th. Marcello is the next driver ahead, and then it's Ollie Berman in the Simtech. Murphy Raghunathan in P3. There we see Scott McLaughlin on the fresher tyres on the one-stop strategy, going through on Felipe Nasser for 6th place. "19 laps remaining here in Sepoong. Buemi cannot afford any mistakes or any mechanical gremlins hitting him now. Newgarden in 5th place, looks to get 10 championship points. We go on to 108, McLaughlin, who have been in 6th place, will be on 110. Bamber will remain on 114, Rosenqvist will stay on 129, and Buemi looks to get 26 championship points, going on to 137. 29 points will separate the top 5 drivers, with Verne virtually out of the running. As for the team standings, the gap was 11 points between Leighton House and Prost. So Prost is going to get 26 championship points. Leighton House with Newgarden in 5th place and Bamber out of the points. Prost will take over the lead, but by only 5 points. See Kobayashi running in 19th behind Kevin Estra. Five drivers out of the race: Jean-Luc Verne, Antonio Giovinazzi, Shane van Gisbergen, Pietro Fittipaldi and Felix Rosenqvist. Jonathan still going strong, keeping it in there in 3rd place ahead of Dixon. Not far away now from those coming in for their 2nd and final stops. Bamber, who's behind Berman up the inside, and Bamber goes through. Berman and Bell are close together. Bell, who's trying to do the one stop, I should think, is finding it quite difficult to stay in touch for a good haul of points. And Kyle Kirkwood is the first of those of the 2nd stoppers to come in, as is Mitch Evans. Now we see Christopher Bell heading through. Ollie Berman for what will be 12th place. Final stop now. Jonathan will remain out there. What about Dixon or Newgarden? Will either of them be coming in at the end of this lap? Well, Buemi's in the pits as well from the lead. Jonathan stays out there. And Ollie Berman slows to a halt, goes over the gravel, and he's the next to retire from the race, and Simtek's season continues to plummet. There's a gearbox failure that is the cause of Berman pulling out. Felipe Nasr in for Mattel for his final stop. Joseph Newgarden in for Leighton House. Sebastian Buemi coming out in 3rd place behind Scott Dixon. He's got clear track ahead of him as well, so he might go for another fast lap if he is feeling it. McLaughlin 4th, Latifi, Aiken, Vantor, Marcello, Newgarden and Bamber in the top 10. See if he gets through on McLaughlin straight away after his pit stop. And see if he's not hanging around. He wants to pick up his 2nd Grand Prix Series win. Newgarden, who has just pitted, goes past Rafael Marcello. And Dixon comes in from 2nd place. Get to the end of the race for the 2nd round running. He'll rejoin, still in the points. He'll be behind Aiken. So Dixon will rejoin in 6th place. We look at Christopher Bell lining up a move on Earl Bamber for 9th position, and the move is complete. sole surviving Simtech. Just want this race to be over now, from his point of view. Latifi, third. Buemi, second. The gap is now 5.2 seconds between the Swiss and the Canadian. Jonathan remains out there. Jonathan picks in from the lead, so Buemi will take back the lead of the race. Goes over the line. It's not another new fastest lap, but he's still got the fast lap point right now as the Prost driver. Mitch Evans at the inside of Brendan Hartley for position. Kirkwood running wide there. This is time. Jack Aiken picks in for Force India. We'll drop down the order. Christopher Bell picks in for the second time. He will fall out of the points. And Ericsson pits in for Von Mattel. It's unlikely he's going to be scoring in this one. Sebastian Buemi is 14 laps away from his third win of the season, which will propel him back into the championship lead. Newgarden in 6th place and Bamber in 8th. That'll give the Lanehouse team 12 championship points. The gap will just be 3 points in Prost's favour. Buemi will be 8 points clear of Felix Rosenquist in 2nd place, going into the final 2 races of the season in Sepang and Phillip Island. The gap is 5 seconds between Buemi and Latifi. McLaughlin is in 3rd place on the 1 stop. Raghunathan is 4th. He's just made his last stop. And someone's dropped down the order. That's Rafael Marcello, who's come in from what was 7th position. That allows Bamber through. That's another couple of points coming in the way of Leighton House. It would be just 1 point the margin between Prost and Leighton House as it stands. Nasser is 8th in the Von Mattel on the 2 stop compared to Bamber, who's doing the 1. Scott McLaughlin with his good form. We'll move on to 117 points. He would in fact, well, he would stay in 4th place, would McLaughlin. He would close in on Bamber, who is in P7. He would get 6 championship points. He will remain in 3rd place. So it'll be Buemi 137, Rosenquist on 129, Bamber on 120 and McLaughlin on 117, but Latifi is coming to a slowdown in the BAR from 2nd position. This is important for the championship. Nicholas Latifi, after his superb win last time out in Autopolis, is out of the race here in Sepoong with 12 laps remaining. McLaughlin goes up into 2nd place and Matavir Raghunathan is 3rd. Newgarden and Bamber move up a position each as well. There we see Jack Aiken overtaking Kyle Kirkwood, what will be 8th place now. Kirkwood down to 9th. And Van Tor in the final points paying position for Onyx in 10th. Sebastian Buemi, who's now got 11.5 seconds in hand over Scott McLaughlin. Now, this shifts the situation in the championship a little bit more now because Newgarden and Bamber. We've got 10 and 8 championship points coming their way. That's 18. Leighton House will remain in the lead of the team's championship heading into Sepoong, but Kobayashi will not be scoring any points. Simtek will not see either of their cars finishing today. They are both out of the race with mechanical problems. And that's another non-finish for Kobayashi, what's been a really daunting season for him. That's his 4th non-finish of the season. Interestingly, only his 2nd non-finish in the last 11 races. McLaughlin is under attack now from Murphy Raghunathan here. Raghunathan is on the fresher tyres compared to the HRT. Raghunathan into the slipstream, pulls out alongside, and the BAR is going to go back into 2nd place. Murphy Raghunathan overtakes Scott McLaughlin to put himself back into 2nd place, making the 2-stop strategy work. Can the Indian get to the checker flag without any mechanical gremlins? Buemi in the lead with 10 laps to go. Raghunathan in 2nd place, and it's McLaughlin, Dixon, Newgarden, Bamber, Nazar, Aiken, Kirkwood and Van Tor. Now, Scott Dixon is another one of those on the 2-stop. I think it's unlikely that McLaughlin is going to hold on here. The gap was 11 points between Leighton House and Prost. It will come down, but Leighton House will stay in the lead by just 3 points. It's certainly going to be a titanic scrap for the championship. There is Buemi doing all he needs to do. 9 laps away from victory. Crossed over the line again. He's not got any back markers to contend with, so it's just staying out of trouble and everything will be fine. The start was what got him into the lead to begin with. McLaughlin's gap over Dixon is 4.2 seconds. Kyle Kirkwood, who's running in 9th, is set to score his first Grand Prix World Series points, but he's got the Onyx of Lawrence Van Tor looming him down. There goes Van Tor on Kirkwood for 9th. That looked a little too easy, really. Has Kirkwood got a problem of some sort, or was that a genuine overtake from the Belgian? I think it was a genuine overtake, so very well done there to Van Tor, who is looking good for a couple of points. But it's not good news for the Prost team! Yet again, Buemi's out! Awful luck! He can't even get back to the pit lane, and Prost's race has taken a dramatic turn for the worse. Buemi's hopes of leading the Drivers' Championship after this race are shattered. Murphy Raghunathan looks set to take his 2nd Grand Prix World Series win, but the bigger picture is that Sebastian Buemi is out of the race from the race lead. But could that spell Prost's hopes of winning either of the championships this time around? It's Leighton House's to lose. Buemi's retirement allows McLaughlin to go into second place. He'll move in front of Buemi. Bamber, with him in 5th place, will go on to 124 points, and Felix Rosenquist will stay in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And Kirkwood, well, he's in 9th position now, which is little consolation for the Arrows team. And Mitch Evans has moved up into the points for Manor. All of this has allowed Felipe Nasr and Fonmatel to go into 6th position. And Fonmatel will leapfrog Marscard Lola. As it stands, they will be just 5 points from safety, with 2 races left. Leads the race, but Jack Aiken is out in the Force India. Engine failure for the Brit, and that moves Van Tor, Kirkwood, Evans and Christopher Bell up into the points. Another retirement. Will we see any more twists in this race? We saw it in League 2 earlier with Nick Cassidy retiring from the league with 4 laps left, which handed Jack Aiken the League 2 Drivers' Championship and Carlin promotion to League 1. Mitch Evans has moved up into 9th position for Manor. An important couple of points coming in the way for them. What I will say is that Felipe Nasr on the 2 stop is closing down on Earl Bamber for 5th place. I want to see that battle right now, because this could be important for more reasons than one. There is Dixon in 3rd place. Looking good for only his 3rd podium of the season. He's well and truly out of the title running, but he can at least celebrate something for his efforts today. It could get even better, because remember, McLaughlin is on the 1 stop, Dixon's on the 2. You never know what could happen from here on in. McLaughlin is just 1.5 seconds clear over Dixon. Didn't get the best of exits, to be honest with you, out of what is turn number 10. The gap between Bamber and Nasr for 5th place is 7 tenths. And there goes Kvyat on Brendan Hartley, 4th position. Kvyat through into 12th. Behind Hartley is Kevin Estra and Marcus Ericsson. Matthew Regunathan is close to victory. Engine fire for the Leighton House of Earl Bamber. Another twist. Another twist! Earl Bamber's car is up in smoke! That hurts his chances of becoming the Grand Prix World Series champion this season. It's good news for the Prost team. For Earl Bamber, it's going to be another non-finish. The car is on fire, so he needs to pull off sooner rather than later. Nasr goes through. Van Tor, Kirkwood, Evans, Bell, Marcello and co will go through. Vantort should go past with ease here, and he does so. El Bamba is out of the race with only 5 laps to go. And Chris Cavanagh's got to hope that Joseph Newgarden makes it to the end, and it's important for his championship hopes. He needs these points, does Newgarden. Yet another mechanical retirement. Scott McLaughlin in second place, looking good. As it stands, he'll be going into second place in the Drivers' Championship. He'll just be 9 points off the championship lead of Felix Rosenqvist. Bamba will drop down to third place on 114. And Boemi will be down to fourth on 112. And Joseph Newgarden will be in fifth on 110. And Vern is still mathematically in the running, albeit 39 points behind, with only 54 left on the table after this round. It's just saw an overtake from Kevin Estra on Brendan Hartley for 12th. Things could get very interesting in the closing stages, but McLaughlin is under attack from Scott Dixon, who's into the slipstream now. Scott Dixon for Minardi is sending one up the inside, and the reigning Grand Prix World Series champion is through into second place with 3 laps remaining here in Sepoong. McLaughlin loses 3 points in the race for the title. So he drops down to 117 points as it stands. So Rosenqvist will have a 12-point lead after this race. Here is Murphy Raghunathan on course for his second Grand Prix World Series run. It'll be back-to-back victories for Will Knight's team. Latifi took the win in Autopolis. Raghunathan is about to take victory here in Sepoong, and it'll be the first time he takes the checker flag first, because if you remember in Zolder where he had won, Vern crossed over the line. Vern crossed over the line to win the race on the road, but had a 30-second time penalty for running into Felix Rosenqvist at the start, and that handed victory to Raghunathan, who had finished second on track. 2 laps remaining. Raghunathan leads, and it's Dixon in second place ahead of McLaughlin. He should be safe from Newgarden. There is the BAR of Murphy Raghunathan, nearly 10 seconds clear. And Felipe Nasr, who is on course for 10 championship points. This will be his best result of the season. And Mitch Evans is about to be overtaken by Rafael Marcello. This is important in the relegation battle as well. Marcello goes through, and Evans is down to 1 point. He's on course for in this race now instead of 2, which will favour Von Mattel even more. Kafia is just outside the points in 11th for Mark Scarvola. Dixon looking good for second place here. Murphy Raghunathan has started the final lap of the race. McLaughlin doing his best to stay in touch with Dixon, but don't think he'll have anything to respond. A podium finish is what he'll have to settle. Third place that will be. But the good thing for him is that he'll move up to second place in the Drivers' Championship. But there is your race leader, Murphy Raghunathan, who has done everything right today. He's had a lot go his way, has taken nothing for granted, and he's kept his car in the event throughout. He's about to take a deserved victory here. He's run about 2 kilometres to go now, and the checker flag will be ready for him. For Will Knight, it's another winner's trophy to go in the cabinet for him. BAR will move above Force India in the Teams Championship into 5th place. It's been a good day for BAR, it has to be said. Matavira Gunnathan has just got a few more corners to get through, and the victory will be coming his way. Matavira Gunnathan rounds the last corner for the last time to win the League One Sepoong Grand Prix. What a drive from the Indian. It's his 2nd Grand Prix Series victory of the season. And Scott Dixon will take his 3rd podium of the campaign. He is officially not going to become Grand Prix World Series champion this time. Scott McLaughlin moves up to 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship by finishing in 3rd place. Newgarden gets some important points for him and for Leighton in 4th. But the celebrations are going to be at Fonmetal. Felipe Nasr has driven a beautiful race to bag some important points for the team in their quest for survival. They get 10 championship points by finishing 5th. Lawrence Van Tor gets a 6th place finish for Onyx ahead of Carl Kirkwood, his first points in the Grand Prix Series. Christopher Bell will be 8th, Rafael Marcello will be 9th, and Mitch Evans will hold off Danny Kafia for the final point for Manor in 10th. Kafia misses out on points this time ahead of Kevin Escher, with Marcus Ericsson, Brendan Hartley and Roman Groshon, who will be excluded from the race for taking out Felix Rosenquist at the start. He is banned for the next round in Sepang. It's a victory for Matavira Gunnathan, a well-deserved one, a race that had twists and turns throughout here in Sepoong. Scott Dixon 2nd for Minardi, ahead of Scott McLaughlin, who moves up to 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. Joseph Newgarden 4th, Felipe Nasr in a fine 5th place, Lawrence Van Tor in 6th, Cole Kirkwood 7th, Christopher Bell in 8th, Rafael Marcello is 9th, and Mitch Evans gets an important point for Manor in 10th position. Outside the points, we've got Danny Kafia in 11th, Kevin Estra 12th, Marcus Ericsson 13th, Brendan Hartley 14th, and Earl Bamber classified in 15th despite pulling out towards the end of the race. Jack Aiken out, Sebastian Buemi out from the lead, a very, very important one and a damaging blow to Prost. Kamui Kobayashi, Nicholas Latifi, who we lost towards the end as well. Ollie Berman also retired along with Jean-Luc Verne, Antonio Giovinazzi, Shane van Gisbergen, Pietro Fittipaldi and Felix Rosenquist with the rest to not finish. Roman Grosjean disqualified from the race for taking out Felix Rosenquist and is banned for the 4th time this season. He's out of the next race in Sepang. Nicholas Latifi takes the point for pole position, and the fast lap point went to Sebastian Buemi, which is little consolation for him. Well, it looks like Sebastian Buemi is going to leave Sepoong in the lead of the Drivers' Championship again, but it's fallen into Rosenquist's path again, hasn't it? Despite not even making the first turn. As for Leighton House, they are closer to sealing the team's championship. Prost, I did say they couldn't afford any more mistakes after what had happened in Autopolis. It's just happened again for them here. It's the 3rd race in a row they have seen both of their drivers fail to make it to the checkered flag. It's time to run down on the League One Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And I'll be back for the penultimate round of the season in Sepang. Topher, it's over to you.
Well, a 2nd win of the season for Mahavira Gunnathan, but a lot of implications for the championship, with a lot of our championship contenders dropping by the wayside in that race. And with 2 to go in Season 4, it's all to play for. Let's have a quick look at the driver standings before we call it a day. And Felix Rosenquist, despite retiring from the race before even reaching the first corner, holds on to his title advantage on 129 points, 12 ahead of Scott McLaughlin, who's really getting himself into the thick of this title battle now and is putting together a very consistent season in that HRT. He has overtaken his fellow Kiwi Earl Bamber, who is now into 3rd in the Leighton House on 114. Buemi there in 4th on 112, ahead of Newgarden on 110. 19 points separating the top 5, less than a race win between them with 2 to go. This could all change. And as you can see by the red line, still mathematically in contention is Jon-Erik Verne and Mahavira Kunathan. But while it might not be as realistic for those two, it is looking very spicy between the top 5 at least. Rounding out the top 10, Scott Dixon in 8th, who is now mathematically out of contention to retain his driver's title. It will not be 3 in a row for the New Zealander, while Kamui Kobayashi is 9th on 59 and Marcello 10th on 56. And in the teams, Leighton House still holds on to their advantage on 224 points, 22 ahead of Prost on 102. That one is going to play out all the way to the checkered flag at the finale, I can tell. Arrow still third on 163, but now only 4 points ahead of HRT, who are still in mathematical contention to win this championship. It is now between the top 4. And anyone from there downwards is still mathematically capable of being relegated. BAR on 133, Force India on 111, Minardi 102, Simtek also on 102, and then Onyx and Manor holding on to their positions within the top 10. Formital, though, looking a bit menacing to Manor at the moment, only 3 points behind now, with Mascar Lola only 10 points behind Manor. It is going to be so close as to which teams are going to be relegated. And the further this season goes on, the more likely it is that Pacific, last on 22 points, will be one of those 3 teams going down into League 2 next season. Well, what a day it has been here in Sepoong. It's been so fascinating as far as the championship picture is concerned. We've had our League 2 driver's title crowned in the form of Callum Ilott, and it is still very close in the drivers in League 1 as well. 2 rounds to go. We head to Sepoong in Malaysia next, followed by Phillip Island in Australia for the season finale. We can't wait to get those last 2 rounds done and dusted to find out who all of our champions are going to be. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have your company. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.